Hello everyone, and welcome to FishEZ. If this is your first opportunity to see FishEZ channel, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Michael and I have a small fish room. It is only got about, I don't know, 45, it's 100 square feet, 40 tanks or so that we take care of here, and we do breeding. So this is also referred to as the nursery. A lot of the fish we breed, we go into other places. Hi Josh B. Hey, nice to hear from you. So glad you could join us tonight. I know it's Sunday night, and I wanted to just take a few moments to talk about some breeding. Hello, Jeff. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, please, if you like this content, please subscribe. Could use some more subscribers, thumbs ups, and all that type of interaction, because we're trying to grow and make ourselves useful here. What we want to really do here at FishEZ is try to maximize our tanks for breeding, and we specialize in certain kinds of fish. We don't have any guppies here. It's not live bearers, but if you do have other fish, you're welcome. And in fact, you're more than welcome to join us and ask questions about your tank, anything you have, and if you'd like to just talk about it, you know, something you maybe you haven't had a chance to ask a question from someone, well, I'm here. And we have a great form of people. It looks like we got Chris Stubbs. He's in the house. We've got Ronnie Clutter, and let's see, thank you very much for joining us tonight. There's always a few lurking about, but please give a thumbs up real quick if you like this content, you want to try to drive more people to come visit us. So tonight, it's kind of a surprise. I usually do Friday night live streams, but tonight we're doing something as I spoke of last Friday, which was not a very long live stream, but we're going to talk about some breeding setups, and we're going to ask you, the audience, you, the individuals, to tell me what to breed. So I'm going to show you some different fish that are possibilities, and you decide, you tell me what we want to do. But I have a new concept and a new thought process, and I really want to give it a try. It's something to maximize the space that we have in our aquariums, because, for example, I have one this is one, for example, this right here is a tank that has 8 little fish. Of course, these are for Roman. If you join us tonight, Roman, these are thread fin rainbows, and we're looking at tiny little fish, and they end up doing about 8, I think, so far. And we were able to breed these from a male that Roman gave me, and my females, which have since died. So what causes them to die off, I do not know. It's a little difficult to be certain, but this is all I can say is threadfin rainbows are not your most hardy fish to have. So we've got the one male here. He's doing pretty good. Let me show him to you. But the point being, before I get distracted, this tank has only a few fish, and I'd like to maximize the tank. I want to get this 5-gallon, like at least 200 fish. Is it possible? 200 fish. The reason why I ask is because, yeah, for a start out, 200 fish, they're really tiny. Once I start getting a 200 fish at a reasonable size, what I do is I start drip water changing the tank, and then when I do that, oh, you know, I forgot my my vocal set. I don't know if you can hear me as well. I usually sound much better when I've got my plugs in. I gotta plug that in. I forgot completely. I'm getting up there, you know. Okay, testing. That's the mic. Maybe you can hear me better now. Probably a lot clearer. I hope that was not too big of a blast. For me, I don't hear any difference because it's just my voice. But if I walk around the room, that helps. Oh, very clear. Excellent. Get the AV going, yes. So in this particular case, this tank, even though it's a success at raising rainbow threadfin rainbows, in my opinion, it is not making me money. So it's not going to be very helpful because I'm going to end up with this tank sitting here, and in the end, I'm not going to make much with it. So what I need to do is learn a way to maximize the count, because it seems as though even if the fish are cheap, when you're selling wholesale, yeah, they go for sometimes $1, $2 a fish. But when you have 50, there's $100, and that's where the money is. And so if I have 8 fish, and I can get maximum $10, or even probably more like $8 a piece, it's only going to be $64, right? 8 times 8. So it's not really helping me. But maybe there are some cases where I'm trying to get breeders, breed them up, raise them up, get some individuals. Maybe it's a rare species. If they were very expensive, like some of our apistogrammas, we're getting a good number for them, like $15 wholesale a piece for some of the rare ones, and that really pays off when you can produce them. Well, getting back to the story, I want to just say hello. I saw some new names here for me. Maybe Cosmin, thank you very much for joining us. And there's Josh B, of course. He was the first to shout out. Yep, it's good to see everybody. And even Chris, I'm so glad. To answer your question, the barbs have not spawned yet, but there has been progress made. And I'll tell you what I first did. First, I removed all the green tiger barbs. And so I'm going to show you the tank right now. So here's the tank of mascaras. And one of the reasons why you want to get rid of the other fish is you want the mascaras to be alone, because if they're with other fish, when they start to spawn, the other fish go into a frenzy and just start eating all the eggs. So when they do spawn, I don't want other fish jumping in and just saying, hey, caviar time. So that's something we're going to do. Now, these guys are looking really nice. I'm only starting to see some beautiful colors in them of late, so I know they're just maturing. I think that they're definitely, I don't know how they compare to black spot barbs or filamentosa. I know they're closely related in the same genus, but which I have a lot of experience with breeding. These ones, I don't know if they mature a little older, because their colors, I haven't seen the male sparring and getting really excited, but we're going to work on that. So I took the green tiger barbs out. It was quite easy. I was first hand feeding them, so they all came to the top. When they got really used to me, I was able to just take my net and scoop them up in a big scoop, and you'll see them here, the green tiger barbs. This tank is delightful. It's one of those exciting, nice tanks if you have them. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a barb tank. We have Odessa barbs. We have black ruby barbs. We have checkered barbs. Look at those checkered barbs. They're really showing some nice color. Dark with reddish fins. We have hexazona barbs. We have long fin rosy barbs. And there's probably something else I'm missing, but as you can see, it's quite a group. It's a beautiful tank. I like it when there's this many because they're very responsive. And as you can see, it's almost as if I'm at the... I like it even the fact that when you do that, look at the green tiger barbs stay together and the Odessas stay together. They know their individual kind. There's no question about that. They know where they belong in life and their stature. So there they are. So here we got and the barbs. So I removed them, and next to come out is the Macropinus. And I'm working on getting some breeding tanks ready for these Macs. You can see there's some nice large ones here that I think they're starting to pair off, and so they're at the age where they should be in a breeding tank. So we're going to remove the Macs, and that will leave just the... These will leave just these mascara barbs and the one lonely isolated extra venison barb which got left over from the expo.
somebody abandoned him, and I was able to save him, and I just threw him in here because, look, there's nowhere else to put him, and he seems to get along better with fish he's used to seeing. In other words, in the wild, these fish do mingle, and they're together. So I hope that answers your question. What we have here behind me, if there's no questions, no. So what we have here is last night I went to the trouble of cleaning tanks and moving things around. We did some readjustments, and now I have, just to show you, we've got one setup, two setup, three setups here, and these setups have their false bottom. There, I throw in something to keep the netting above the ground so that eggs will fall through, but they can't be picked off by the parents who might be able to get to the eggs. Over here, next to the thread fins, we've got another setup. This one and this one. So this one I use something different. Instead of the white egg crate, I'm using something from the dollar store that basically it's upside down, but it's meant to be the other direction with the pointers up to kind of cause animals from not going into the garden. You spread this around, you kind of line it up. It's basically spikes. And I find them to be nice little stilts. So instead of using them as spikes, I use them as stilts. I come down here, I can look through here and see nice areas I'm looking for fry. That is very helpful. It also keeps the netting, actually, this is barbecue netting. You can order this from your local Amazon or whatever. It's fiberglass, it's not metal. It is made and it can be cut with scissors, and I just cut it a little larger than the size of the tank so that it kind of folds up on the sides and gives it a nice taut structure when it goes into the tank. So that will keep the parents from getting out. There is a small bubbler. It's not really needed. All you could use is an air stone because there's not much of any load, a bio load yet. It takes time. It kind of builds up with the fish, so it's kind of nice. Now, what you need, by the way, this system or setup, I do not like these heaters where they attach themselves to the wall. There's suction cups on them, and as you can see, I just have it loosely sitting in there. I don't want them against the glass because if a female is being run by a male, he's chasing her, and she sometimes squeezes behind there and just squeezes behind there, and he can't get to her, and no breeding is getting done. So as you can see here, they're just sitting out in the middle, and they heat just as well, but she can go around it, and he can follow her. So the chase is on, you might say. So tonight, let's take a look at our options, and we're going to do something a little different. I have always put like a pair of fish in here, and then I would take them out and then wait and see if I get any fry. But I've got so many fish to breed from that I'm going to try something different, okay? This is a new set. We're going to see if this works. Basically, let's say, for example, one of those tanks, we choose a pair of, let's say, for example, black ruby barbs. So there's a black ruby barb. I see the male's got a little red nose. These are all males, by the way. They come and go in their color. It just depends on the mood they're in. But when they get in the mood, they get beautiful. So I'll take a black ruby barb pair, put it in there. I want to put them in there tonight and before lights out. And in the morning, the male and female should be together. And tomorrow they have 24 hours to get excited. And that usually is all it takes. If they sit there in the night, in the morning as they wake up, the lights come on and they start to dance, and I will get a lot of eggs. Tomorrow night, we're going to pull the eggs. We're going to pull the parents, right? We're going to pull the parents. So this tank here, let's say if we put the black ruby barbs in here, What we're going to do is we're going to remove the black ruby barbs tomorrow night. But at the same time I remove them, I'm going to put a fresh pair in. I'm going to put another pair, another male, because I have several males and several females. And I'm going to do it for the next day, because the eggs won't hatch. And hi, Sandy. It's good to see you. It's been a while. And so is Red Laser. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're talking about my new game plan. We're going to put pair number 2 in there on the second day. And we're going to actually extend it. We're going to put pair number 3 on the third day. Now, my experience has been the eggs start to hatch, but they're still wigglers. There may not be much fry getting out from underneath, but I find that once we put the moss in, we're gonna moss it up like this. So we're gonna put, well, not this much. There's a lot of moss in here because we don't want it so much that the female can hide from the male and the male can't find her. But we'll have a nice little wad of moss in each one. And so they're going to be going in and out of the moss, laying their eggs. But I'm going to go round robin. We're going to refer to this as the round robin method. We're going to keep going round and round for 3 or 4 days, and then we'll stop, because then the first eggs will start to become. If I start to see fry on the walls, then I know that they are. What I've observed is that it's been 3 or 4 days before they start showing up on the walls of the tank. So coming up and sticking themselves. And then after that, I've noticed that it still takes 3 or 4 more days before they're free swimming. So it takes a good week. So if I were to start this tonight, we're going to put the pairs in tonight. Turns out that maybe Friday, when we do our live stream, we can check to see how it works. I don't know if we're going to get something, but let's look at our options. So this is how the round robin will go. We'll go 3 days for sure, and just inspecting, maybe judgment, depending on how active the fish are. We might go a 4th one. Doing it this method, you're giving yourself 4 opportunities in 4 days, and the youngest and the oldest will only be 4 days apart. In the beginning, that might be something. You might start to see a size difference in the very beginning, free swimming versus wigglers. But by the time they're a month old, I don't think there'll be that big of a difference. But the idea is, even then, when we go to pull them out, if we have big size difference, we can always split them up at that time, because if it is truly successful, we could have lots of eggs. So, shall we start? What are our options? We have, and I don't know if this is to take a tour, because you folks, all you individuals online are going to do the voting. I'm going to exclude the hexazonas because I like to breed them. They're a little different. They're a little secretive, and I usually leave them in the tank for 3 days, the same pair, before I get any success. So they're not quick to lay eggs. We have albino cherry barbs. I'm really anxious to do these checkered barbs because look at these females. They're just gorgeous. They have a metallic sheen on them, blue, and they're really full-bodied. These guys, see the females? They're just like, look at the color on these females are amazing. Now, they don't have the red fins. They have more of a yellowish tinge on their fins. Okay. So, then we have, I'm going to exclude also the green tiger barbs. We'll do them at a later date. And the reason why is because I haven't got the sexes split from this group. And I lost all the adults that I had, so I think I might have 1 female, but I don't really have a male to go with it. So nothing's really ready, and I want 3 pairs or so, right? So I got to pull the females out of here and put them in their isolation group. So we've got Odessa barbs, longfin rosy barbs, And we've got the black ruby barbs. So there's 3 possibilities here, 3 and 4 and 5. Now I have separated what I think are males and females from the penguin tetras. If we want to try a penguin tetra group doing the same thing, we could do that. If you might be interested in that, we could take maybe a pair each day, 1 female. This is the 6 females and 6 males. So I'm guessing the sexes, but if we do have them, we might be able to get some out. So penguin tetras are on the table, and with rosy barbs. Let's see, we might even have anything else. We do have the possibility of, I have males over here inside this tank of the snakeskin barbs, but I don't know if that would be the best choice at this time. Maybe for the next go around. If there's any tank that has no fry in it by Friday night, then we may start over. While I'm here, by the way, we have put our pistogramma setups. We're going to be breeding pistogrammas hopefully soon. We've got over here, we've got on the far left, we've got some panduros, but here we're going to start with, this is the females for, these females are the agazizi, and in here we have the hogsloy females. I got 3 of them in each tank, and they've been settling down for a few days. And this is another one of our panduros. And what we've got there now is pH down to 4.6. So these tanks have been dropped. They're ready for breeding. I just need to add the male. So if you want to see the males, hopefully they won't. We've got, those are our Inca 50s. And here are the beautiful, gorgeous, these are just amazing hogsloy or hogsloy red gold. What an interesting fish. And then of course here's the male. Here's the male I'll be using for the breeding. That's the agazizi. We've got some trifasciata, but they're super aggressive. I had to split all of them up. All the males are in separate locations just because they're horrendous. Look at that color. Oh, he's showing off. It's a glistening blue, blue-green. Just fantastic. And also here is all the females I pulled out. Future breeders. These are all female panduros. And I'm going to throw a male in there. But I got too many females, so I'm going to pull out 3 of them or so and take them over to the grow out house, fish house. Let them grow out over there. I'm just going to work with, I got 3 males I'm going to work with, trying to get 3 pair more. And nothing's in here. This was set up, ready to go. Oh, and over here, yeah, these are just extra rosy barbs. I have these for sale, by the way. We're going to try to Aquarium Fantasy. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. And we've got some long rosies that we bred here. They're going to go, I'm going to select a couple of pair for the breeding pen, and the rest will be sold. But there's some nice pairs. Anybody interested? Let me know. You can always reach me at the contact page for YouTube. And there's some extra snakeskin barbs in there. Okay, so that's it. So what are our options? Let's write them down and let's take a vote so we can see what we're going to do this week. All right, yes. I think Cosman said he loved my green water. Well, the green water tank, this is the life of the Daphnia that we produce here for the breeders. And this thing produces 2 gallons of green water every 4 days, 3 days. 2 gallons is enough to feed a lot of Daphnia. So it really works out nice. In fact, I'll be putting out a little video on the Daphnia probably later this week. I've already taken some footage. It's just, I have a way of doing it that seems to be foolproof, and I'd like to share that method with everybody. Okay, I got my pen. Let's see, our number one, we're going to do, I'm just going to list them all that as in the order that we looked at it. We had checker barbs, checkered. We had the albino cherry. I only have 2 trios. I can't spell cherry. Cherry. Oh, anyway, cherry. And we're going to skip on the hexazonas and the green tiger barbs. So we have black ruby barbs, black rubies. We've got long finned rosies, and on the long finned rosies, this experiment will be interesting because if we go with those, I want to up the temperature. I want to see if I can get more males by upping the temperature. So I bred them in the past, but we might put them in a tank where we're going to click the temperature up to like 81. Yeah, maybe 81 or so, and see if we can get more males. So males is the goal. Anyway, let's see. We've got, of course, we've got the Odessas. And what else? Did I miss anything? We also have, now in the case of the, we got the tetras, penguin tetras. And they're ready. What I didn't show you though was also we have separated and they're really primed up is the rummy nose. So they're also as a very big candidate. We could do rummy nose. And I would probably do those like 2 females and a male rummy nose each day. I would do two females and a male each day. We would set their tank up very much the same way, but we would add, I'm going to add some broadleaf plants for those. Okay. That is another way to use green water tank. yeah, a green water tank. It's a billboard. Okay, so we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 tanks to do the round robin on, and we've got one. So we got to eliminate 2 of these fish. We want to just stick with the same one. We would never use the same tank for 2 different species because it's just too much work at the end trying to separate the species. I would rather put pairs out there and then have to sort of. So let's see, how would we do this? Is there a way of doing a poll, or I don't know how to do a poll. I've never done a live stream. Can you do a poll? I don't see a way. Okay. So no poll. We'll just have to talk about it. You guys will have to go to post. So let's give a thumbs up. We got checkered rummy and checkered cherry and rummy. So there's a vote. That's 3 votes. You could have done 5, Blackwater. He says rummy, cherry, and checkered. Rummy, checkered, and cherry. Top 3. Okay. Anybody else? Oh, you think The albino cherries are too young. Why do you think they're too young? Those females are busted. I've had them 6 months since I got them. And the males, they were too young when I first did the first attempt, obviously. But the males have really, they really colored up. There's just 2 of them. But to me, I think that now that they've been separated, okay, Josh likes the penguins. Oh, brother. Penguins, okay. We got Josh says penguins. Can you give a vote for Josh? You just give 1 vote for one. We got to eliminate 2 different species here. Yeah, black water is what we might have to do with the, I didn't put them on there, the snake skins. I want to do those next in a more, if we get any empty tanks, meaning no success breeding, let's say if we try the cherries, and after a week, we'll have an empty tank, right? We got to do something right away, and we might turn it into a black water tank and try to get some of the others. So we got cherry barb and rosy barb penguins. Cherry rosy penguins from Benjamin Peters. Cherry rosy and penguins. Okay. Penguins and rummy nose from Cosmo. Penguins and rummy nose. Good. All right. You have to keep the snakeskins. Cherry barbs from Aquatic Cherries. Oh, another cherry. But we only got 2 males, so in that case, they'll only be in there. I might leave them in. In that case, we might try a trio or a pair. I'm not sure which would be best. What we could do is put a male in and then swap out to the next male the next day, and then put the same first male in and on the 3rd day. He'd have a day of rest. That might work. Anybody else? I haven't heard from Jeff. Come on, Jeff. Give us your best shot. I'm expecting you to vote. You're one of the moderators. Come on. Of course, nobody's ever had to moderate on FishEZ channel. Nobody gets too excited around here. We're just interested in breeding fish, right? Not making enemies with our friends. We're all a good bunch here. Yeah, those are the choices. We got 5 tanks I set up, and we want those 5 tanks working for us. So, sorry, catching fish. Oh, come on, give us your choice. Cherry barbs from Sandy. Sandy wants cherry 4. Wow, those cherries are really going strong. They may not even produce. The last time I did, like he said, maybe they're too young. I don't think they're too young. Most barbs definitely. And Chris says rummy nose. We got another rummy nose. Oh, Jeff wants cherry too. There we go, 5. My goodness, they're definitely a leader, which is kind of, I'm kind of surprised. It would be a first for me to breed cherry barbs. Of course, I don't think any barb is too difficult. You just got to know the right parameters, and you got to know sort of the techniques. Like, for example, with the Exozonas, I like to do them like 3 females and 2 males together. They do better in a little group rather than pairs. Oh, okay. So now that's why you said cherries, Jeff. You're interested in a little competition. Okay. We're going to use the round robin method here. We're going to see if we go. In the future, I got some really interesting, just to kind of flash ahead. Nothing with your Aurelius, huh? Well, we're gonna have this winter. We're going to really talk about those. We'll have time indoors, and instead of out ponding, we'll be inside meditating on how we can get these Dickensia barbs to spawn in our egg traps. Right? We're going to talk about that. So sorry. Okay. We're doing pretty good, except we need, okay, it looks like, you know, you guys are voting out some of the ones, like, for example, I'm going to vote now. I'm going to do my voting, and I'm going to add one for the checkered, and I really want nothing for the black ruby. I have black rubies already. We got a batch of those, so maybe they're obviously eliminated because there's been no votes for them. Checkered, I'll go for the albino cherries. All right, let's try the penguins. And last of all, we'll do the rummy nose. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to do those for some time. So, but I'm going to go ahead with the longfin rosies. I'm going to up the temperature because I need that experiment to occur, because we bred so many rosy barbs last year or this year, and over the summer we even grew them out in tanks outside. They did real exceptional, but there were very few males that I could see. And that just means that the temperature could be adjusted somewhat, and I'm going to try to find that sweet spot. So we're going to do an experiment by raising the temperature, and if we get the same results, then I will try using a lower temperature. And we'll put them in a tank where it doesn't get over 75, and see if, you know, we can breed them at that lower temperature. And they're pretty ridiculous when it comes to spawning. You put a male and a female together and they just start spawning right away. It's not a problem for them. So, yeah, I see 5 longfin males right here from this distance. 1, 2, 3. I see 5 longfin males. That'd be good. So the results are in. Oh, that's why you have a lot of males, huh? Those are release barbs. So the results are in. Black ruby is out and Odessa is out, because nobody wants to see those, even though I could sure sell those if I raise them. But we'll go ahead and eliminate them. Thank you very much for your help tonight in deciding what I will focus on in the next day. So we're going to go ahead and move the fish over. We're going to give it the tetras. We're going to give it to we're going to give it a shot at the pH that we have. I'm not going to try to lower the pH like I did with the epistogrammas. Now, I'm going to do another video to show you how to lower the pH very safely, very soundly, and with high stability. It works great every time, and that's how we get the epistogrammas to breed good numbers of fry. But in order to do that, it will take a little more longer setup. And I want to demonstrate how I set those tanks up. You saw, yes, there's a lot of leaves in there, of course. But we're going to see. Hey, Fathom Aquatics, welcome to our chat tonight. We are just hanging out on a Sunday night, deciding what to breed next, starting tonight. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to just put in some moss. I have the moss I took out. It's just a wad of what we have here is I've used RO water to get low TDES. I'm going to add a wad of, you don't have to use RO water, you could use some maybe. I'm just going to put a wad of that in there. I usually put a nice, about a tennis ball size amount. And I do something to kind of make it sit down in the middle so that the fish can go around. So you can see here, the fish right over here are going to go around this group, but it's going to float around, right? So I might take a little rock, and this is just for a weight. It's just a rock. This one happens to be a smooth rock. And this moss has got some, it's also got some, what looks like, what do you call those leaves? I got some cryptocorn in there. The moss can be kind of congested, like wad up and tight. I use a cheap stick. I always have these sticks because sometimes I break them to make certain links. This stick is a skewer stick. You get them at the dollar store, a whole package. So very cheap. And I'm going to take this one. You can see there, you can see it. And I can use it to kind of break up the moss, kind of get it loosely. I want the fish to be able to dive into the group like that. In the case of the penguin tetras and the, we're going to set up, I'm going to set up these, I'll probably use, I'm not sure which ones. Okay. In the case of the penguin tetras, and they'll be in the upper portion of the tank, I might add for them, we'll go ahead and add some floating plants. I've got plenty of hornwort growing in the community tank here. I'll just take a wad of that, put it on the top to kind of give them a overhead protection, give them a sense of comfortability when I put them in there. And there's some moss in there. We could start taking that out. Definitely don't need this. This is so what I do is I use a stick and twirl it because it's kind of loose, and then when I twirl it, easy to remove as a group. Oh wow, got a lot of it there. It's also a mop. So when we bred the red fins, there's a mop in here. Now it's all kind of messed in with the moss, but it doesn't hurt. Mop, moss. I could throw some mops in there. That wouldn't be a bad thing, you know, to use mops. Yeah, that's how I usually remove twirl it, make it into a ball, because some of the loose pieces will get twirled up. That's how I remove Java muss. And once you twirl it, it becomes out, there's nothing left in there. It's just the fish, which are at the top anyway. They don't use the moss. That was, you know what that reason the moss was in there? The reason it was in there was not so much, maybe a little bit for the threadfin rainbows, but mostly it was in there because I had things going on in these other tanks, and the moss came from those tanks, and I just needed a wet tank to hold them. And I'm just cleaning this out a little bit, get some of this moss out. Here we go. There's we got a mop there. Dry it out, reuse it for our rainbows. Okay, beautiful. So now, last thing to do is let's put some moss over here in these tanks. You can't see what I'm doing, but I can show you. I want to come over here. Let me change the camera around. There we go. Let's watch what I do here. Okay. So in this tank, this is our test number. This is tank number 1, 2, 3. We'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we just did 4 and 5. We'll see if that works. I don't know. We'll put a wad in there. Let it sink. It's sinking now. I like Java moss for this purpose. It's one of the best things you can use for breeding fish. It's natural, has lots of bugs in it, might say. These tanks over here on this side do not have heaters. I don't know if I'm going to try using heaters because the room right now, for example, right now the room is at 79. That in Celsius is 26 and a half, but I'm at 79. It never gets cooler than that, really. It stays pretty good. So, but so here we have this tank, a wad. We just got a wad here. This one's going to start playing the bubble game. That's why I got to weigh it down. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a rock, something to just kind of weigh it down. I'm sure I have plenty of rocks around here. Oh, here's a bucket full of rocks. Find a small one. And there. Okay, and you just need to kind of anchor down maybe a corner of the moss. You don't need to worry too much. Just put that down, maybe on the corner, and it just kind of latches on and works great that way. The key to breeding egg scatterers is actually not in the setup as much as it is in the conditioning. So the sexes have been separated for some time. There we go. Looks good. Place to go around and around while the male chases the female. And this one. So if the male and female are in condition and they've been separated for a while, they're going to get quite excited when they get together. And if they're full of eggs, there we go. There we go. Okay. And we'll go ahead and check parameters. I'm going to go with the first one. We'll take our probe. Check our parameters here. That would be our, I want to check, this is the probe, and we're going to stick it in the tank. We're going to check to see what is our, decibarbs are separated most of the time. They're always separated, males and females, because I know I could probably get away with putting a couple females in with the males, but my fish room is only 100 square feet. It's got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 9, 41, 42, 43, 44. So I got 44 tanks to tend to, not including the Daphnia tanks. Yeah, 44 tanks to tend to and plus. So 44 plus in all squeezed into this little small fish room. Yeah, Ichthys aquatics, I keep them separated most of the time, but you probably don't have to, but if I did have them together and now we needed to separate them, it's conditioning. So the question is not so much how long they've been separated, but when you separate them, how long will it take to get them in the proper condition? Well, the females have nice, fat tummies, where the males show some vibrant color. When you see this happening, then you can say, okay, that'll work. Okay, what is our... Yeah, so right now pH 5.9. That's not bad. It's only 10 parts per million, or in microsiemens, that's 0.03. Very low TDS. That's to keep the eggs. That's to let the eggs hatch and give the fish a sense of like rainwater. But yeah, the pH is probably just under 6. Well, I'm surprised. It's just, that's what it is when it's mostly RO water. Around here, it will steadily climb. But unless we put peat or we put something into the water, let's just check this one. It should be exactly the same. This one's 6. This one went up. Doesn't seem like it's going up. Give you an idea. Let's just throw it in the last tank here. That's our little breeding setup we've got for our. I used to have CPDs in there. Now I just got Danios and gold white clouds, gold form, which are really fantastic dither fish. I really like them as dither fish, and they're so hardy. Cold, hot, whatever. I see. Now that one is way up. It's gone up 6.5. You can see that. Hi, Night Owl Aquatics. Mac J also. Well, we got a lot of different ones joining us tonight. This is 6.8. So what we have here is, normally this is probably just tap water, 6.8, closer to 7. Usually it's about 7.4 for tap water. You know what? I don't think it's a bad idea just to check the catfish tank. Let's just see what that is. It should be. I'm going to put the probe in there. I don't want it dropping too low. That is 6.6. I think as long as I'm above 6, I'm okay for the catfish. I think it would be nice. I'll give them a water change tonight. I'll do a third of their water. I try to do that regularly. Anyway. Hi, Shady Grady, and thanks everybody for joining us. Great to see so many faces. Or, I can't see faces. Well, I do see faces. Some faces in the icon. And do I have any issues with the adults getting under? Yeah, sometimes they get under. Sometimes. But I've pretty much figured out how to do it. Now, let me explain to you. I mentioned this at the beginning, but when I cut this fiberglass, this is barbecue mats. So you buy them as fiberglass mats that they put onto barbecues for cooking, evenly cooking food. So these mats come in sheets, and I can cut them just larger than the bottom. So what I found is the fish have a real tough time getting under when you can see, like look at the back corner here. You see in the back corner where it's curved up a little bit? Because it has to curve up a little bit because it's a little bigger than the bottom, the size of the tank. And so that curving up prevents any fish from getting down under. See how it's curving up on the sides? I just have to make sure on the front and the back that we're definitely butted up against the glass. And I think we are. But it's pretty. I'll give you a sample. Let me put my hand in there and push on it a little bit. You'll see it does bend a little bit. This one. But over here, definitely not. There's nothing getting back there. Once in a while it happens. I just watch for it every day and I get her out. Usually it's a female. She's trying to get away from the male. And I get her out, and yeah, she could eat eggs, but usually that just means I'll go with another pair. You know, I'll take them out. If they do get underneath there, I view it as a loss, and I just grab another pair and start over. So, because if she's already chased away. The other thing to remember is that there comes a point in time when your fish are just finished breeding. The female will not breed, and she's just going to run and hide, and and do anything and everything possible to escape from the male, because there seems to be just him and her in there. And when that happens, it's a lost cause. I mean, you're not really benefiting by keeping them in there any longer. So when I see that, when the female's non-responsive to the male, that's the time to take them out as well. So when we're playing this round robin tonight, for those of you who have just joined us, what we're going to do is these 5 tanks that we just set up tonight for breeding our five breeds. We're going to try Raminos, checkered barbs, albino cherry barbs, long-fin rosy barbs, and penguins. And in that case, what's going to happen is they will be put in. I have enough pairs separated. I'm going to put in a pair or a trio, whatever, first night. Then I'm going to tomorrow night pull them out, and it's just before dark and before lights out, and put in another pair. The next morning when the lights come on, they'll start breeding. They will be accustomed to their tank at that time. They'll be in there all night, and boom, it's just going to be for 3 nights, maybe 4 if I feel like it, but 3 nights, and we're going to just do it. Boom, 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 boom. BRB is black ruby barb, right? Or are you talking about somebody else? LRB. My LRB is longfin rosy barbs. So if I talk about LRB, I know that many of you think I might be talking about Mr. LRB, but this is not the Little River band, but longfin rosy barbs. Around here we've got digits or nomenclature for every species, and that's how I keep the record straight. I can look at the abbreviations and immediately know what fish I'm talking about, and then I use even pistos, like for example AP1, AP2, AP3. That's pair 1, pair 2, pair 3. All of them are Panduros, a pistogram of Panduros, Pandurini. So that works, and then I yeah. That's how I keep things straight around here. Well, that's been quite a night, and I look forward to giving it a whirl. And if you're a member of this channel, I might even let you watch each step along the way. We'll see about that, how it goes this week, and we'll tune in to see what's going on, to get some behind the scenes membership videos going. I think that would be pretty smart, just because it's a nice way to show thank you for all that you do. I appreciate everybody who's contributed to the channel, and you do that by giving a thumbs up. The square pond basket, putting the females and males in there and laying the eggs. Well, thank you very much for your thought. I know where you're going with that. I see that all the time, and it's done with Danios, and it's done with tiger barbs, and I think it's probably useful. But what exactly is the difference? A tank with a floating basket, or a tank with a basket bottom? I guess, in all honesty, a floating basket might be a great idea, because for some species, such as Danios and tiger barbs, you could leave them in there longer, right? And then the eggs would fall through, and they would hatch, and they would go to the sides of the tank, and as they are, and there wouldn't be any. Honestly, there wouldn't be any eating of the fry, because they can't get to them because they're in the basket. So there's that possibility. But I find that the basket is just too small. And we're using 5.5 gallon tanks to begin with. They're pretty small. If I had a bigger tank, yeah, I'd want to maybe try to do it differently. But I don't like big, huge tanks, because once the fry are in there, you want to concentrate the food into the mouths of the fry, and so you need to have a smaller space. And so, like for example, I'll throw parameci in there, and the first few days, the smallest fish I've bred are these threadfin rainbows, and they are super tiny when they're born, and they don't do well at all because they have super small mouths, and paramecia is about the only food that they can take, so it really works well with them. I do sell the paramecia kits for everybody to get started in them. Once you got a kit, you don't need to keep replenishing it. You can just grow your own. Watch my videos on that. It's my most popular video on the site. But the very small food is necessary for the first couple weeks, and then I slowly shift over to powdered food, because the threadfin rainbows are then at the surface of the water right along here, and when they're right along, actually this tank here, right along the top, and they are right there, and when they're always looking for food at the top, you have to put something that you can just, powder on the surface, and the water tension will keep it there for a long time, and they can just feast off that all day, at least for quite a few hours. But that reminds me also that when the bottom gets pretty grody, I need to put in a Ancestris pleco youngster, and I'll put a youngster in the tank, and I did just put one in about 2 days ago. So there's a young pleco in that tank, and he's cleaning it up. Keeps the bottom clean. It's a really good asset for growing out small fish. So I always have Ancestris on hand. They're easy to come by since we've got pairs putting out batches all the time. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that. It's a great evening. It's actually, I hope I answered your question. The basket idea is not a bad one. I might even, I wonder if we could even find just the right size basket, because what I don't like is to put too small a basket, and that would be where there just isn't any room for the female to escape the male. But it could be very helpful having a basket that's almost the size of the 5.5 gallons. So given the right size, now I can hold it up on the ends with styrofoam, and it would float quite well. That might be a good attempt, a good try with I would do it with the green tiger barbs first. I would give that a try with the green tiger barbs and see if that doesn't do a round robin, several days of putting a pair in there. On the videos you watch, a lot of times people are, what they're doing is they're giving you, okay, this is one pair, and this is how we do it, and you'll get fry, and it's like for beginners, right? What I'm looking at here is a little bit beyond that. I'm looking at the next step, and that is how to produce a lot of fry. Because when the tank gets full, I have a lot more tanks I can move them to, and the idea is, even if they're a number of days apart, once they get to a certain size, I could take out, with the right size net, at the right time, I can net out the big ones, let the little ones through, yeah, and then kind of sort them in that way, and then have a tank of the older ones and a tank of the younger ones, and it would still work out fine. But I'm guessing that 3 or 4 days is okay, and in the end it won't matter, because every batch has some really strong ones, and they'll grow fast and they'll catch up. I mean, what's 4 days difference when you're talking about fish that are 3 months old? You won't see any difference in size. They'll be the same batch. But we'll give it a try. So that's the excitement, and tonight why I wanted to just join up on the live stream to say hi to everybody. Looks like everybody's having a nice evening. Seems like we gathered a few more people, some of our old-time folks, and we appreciate you stopping by. I'm going to sign off now so I can get to picking out those pairs that we decided tonight and putting them into the tanks, and getting them ready. Actually, it's almost lights out time, another 30 minutes. So I got 30 minutes to get them in the tanks, And then when lights go out, they'll be primed and ready for tomorrow. Some fish are so excited. Some fish are just so good. They're just so ecstatic with seeing a male and a female. They sometimes only they start breeding within 10 minutes of being put into a tank. I know a lot of the tiger barbs are like that. The black rubies, yeah, they're all like that. So right now I'm going to pick out which tank is going which. I do want to put the rosies in one of the heated tanks, so I may use this one here because I'm going to up the temperature. In fact, this one I'm going to mark right now. This one has to be so I can manipulate the temperature. Right now it's 82. Let me just go ahead and put Rosie. We'll put Rosie on there. So I just did that. Mark them Rosie. So we got Rosie here. And here on this one. Do I need, which one do I think? I think the barbs, most of the barbs are going to be just fine with 79, 78 degrees. They don't need a little up temperature. The rest of them, I don't think it matters. But I'm going to go ahead and put the, we'll put the tetras. We'll put some tetras here. This will be, I think I'm going to put the rummy nose tetra. We'll put rummy nose tetras in here, so because when I walk into the room, I can look over and see this tank, and boom, it's just so I can walk in and see them. I can observe from the other side of the room. It's not a big room, but then on the other three tanks, we've got let's see, 3 tanks more. We got penguins, penguin tetras, PT. We're going to do our red cherries. Red cherries, RC, and our last one, what was our last one? Checkered. We'll do our checkered barbs. And those are, yeah, OO. I know that OO is the checkered barb because their scientific name is very unique. I can't even say it, but it starts with an O. The genus starts with an O, and the species starts with an O. So when I see the little OO, I know that's the checkered barb. Okay, folks, that will do it for our experiment. We're going to get going this week, and we're going to see if we can't get some fry. In the meantime, I have plenty of paramecia set up already going. I do put this, when I put the peri in, I often feed them with Daphnia, live Daphnia. And let me turn on, I'm going to show you the tank we got. And there's a reason why I use live Daphnia. Very simple reason, actually. Let me show you the Daphnia tank. I'm going to use this one here. Now, have I got enough Daphnia? I gotta remove some. But anyway, the reason I use Daphnia is because it's the only food I feed them while they're in the breeding tank, and it's usually initially, and it stimulates them. And why I use Daphnia is that the Daphnia survive in those tanks. They don't die. So I'm putting a little bit of there. They swim around until they get eaten. And if I take out the parents, and guess what? If they're still there, they're swimming around in the tank, and the fry start hatching, and it doesn't hurt anything. Just have Daphnia in the tank. And then eventually the fry get big enough and eat the baby Daphnia. So, because Daphnia keep throwing out babies all the time. So they keep reproducing. So that's why I use Daphnia. Live food. and only Daphne. If I did like microworms, no good because it falls through the bottom. Well, the parent fish don't eat it anyway. But if I do flakes or pellets or granules, no, it's just going to waste on the bottom. Because sometimes when they see the male female, they're not even hungry. They shouldn't be hungry. They've been fed up. So maybe I will feed them tonight, a few minutes before I put them in, and make sure their stomachs are full. But that's good. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. It's been a wonderful evening just to chat about breeding setups and all. And I appreciate that many of you were able to join us. And if it doesn't look like everybody hit the thumbs up, so maybe I need to improve on my presentation. Not sure. I always welcome suggestions. And it was a pleasure to meet with some of you, and thank you very much, FishEZ Aquatics, for your tremendous input, questions. They're very astute. And of course, I've enjoyed your videos too. They've got some very interesting things to think about, and we all help each other, right? So it's much appreciated. Okay, have a great weekend, and above all, enjoy your fish and keep it real.